Alright, hello everybody. You join me in the Stinger again. I figured I should probably make a video about what's going on with the recall and just how I feel about it, my thoughts, whatever. So yeah, if you didn't know, basically every 3.3 liter V6 Stinger model of every year, as long as you have that engine, which is the engine that I have, was sent a notice. Every owner was sent a notice that there was a recall out for the car because there is an oil leak that is happening in one of the oil feed pipes that leads into the turbo. So why is this bad? Well, a potential danger of this is that if you leak oil and it ignites, you'll have an engine fire and basically your car will burn down. So it's a very potentially serious issue. Given that, obviously it's a recall, so not every car is affected by it. So I've been kind of looking around at all of the Stinger owner groups on Facebook and whatever. There seemed to be a lot of confusion around owners as to why Kia is handling it the way that they are. So basically it's a two-step process. First, you have to take your car, every owner, I mean you don't have to, but basically if you got the notice for the recall, every owner is advised to take their car in for an inspection, to inspect the parts and see if you even have a leak, and then you have to bring it back to actually get the recall performed if your car doesn't pass inspection. So a lot of people were confused as to why there was an inspection in the first place, to which my answer to that is Kia is not just going to order the parts for 40,000 cars if 40,000 cars don't need the recall done. That's an enormous waste of money, in my opinion. Like, the dealerships aren't just going to do that. So having an inspection first makes sense to me. Interestingly enough, the dealer that I'm going through, they inspected my car first before ordering any parts. My friend's car, they ordered parts for her car without inspecting it first. And I've also heard about other dealers around the country who are just ordering parts from the get-go. So maybe it's a dealer-to-dealer thing. That part doesn't really make sense to me, so I don't know. It makes sense to me that you have to do an inspection first, because why would you buy the parts on a specialty car if it doesn't need it? You know, and it also makes sense for me that the parts are not just lying around, because again, it's a specialty car. So that's my take on that part. My take on the recall itself. It happens. It's a performance car. It's a performance car by Kia. Like, you know, it's not exactly what they're known for. Not a big deal, you know. My car did have the inspection done, and it did not pass, barely. They said that my car has a very, very, very small leak, but it's very small. So basically, for my case, it's more of a preventative measure. It's basically just like, well, it's going to get worse in the future, so you might as well replace it now. I heard that there have been cars that went in that were significantly worse than mine, and were basically like, yeah, no, we need to get this done, because if we don't, like, your car could burn down. So I'm not too worried about my car in general. I don't know. I take it in tomorrow, so I haven't had my recall done yet. I've had my inspection done. The parts are in. I'm taking it in tomorrow. Now, my experience so far with this recall is, they told me when it first came up, obviously you have to do the inspection, then if it fails, you actually have to come back and do the recall. So they told me that it would be a one-day job, like just you drop it in first thing in the morning, and then you pick it up same day that evening. I got a phone call yesterday that was their estimate before they actually did any recalls. I got a phone call yesterday saying that it's actually a 2-day process. They have actually performed the recall on a couple cars, and they realized it's going to take a little bit longer, and it's a 2-day thing now. For me, that's okay. That's not a problem. They've been very forthright and communicative about it, so like I don't have a problem. So yeah, it turned into a 2-day thing, which again, whatever. I have heard, well actually I haven't heard, but a friend of mine has heard that some cars that have gotten the recall done have been experiencing problems after they got the recall done. So whether that's true or not, I can't speak to, because I don't personally know anybody who has gotten the recall done yet. I'll say this. It's been my experience that with Kia, it really comes down to the dealership. And I will say that even with this case, because apparently there's a lot of dealerships around the country that, like, they won't even take your car in for an inspection, or they just tell you, like, that you have to just get the parts replaced no matter what. Like, there's been different responses for different dealers, for different people around the country. And I have no problem believing that. Luckily, every dealership that I've worked with Kia has been very good. I do understand that there are dealers around the country that are not good. So, I say that to say that my experience isn't necessarily going to be the experience of everybody else that gets this done. If somebody has gotten the recall done and then they got their car back and it was whatever, leaking coolant, like overheating, just some of the things that I've heard, I'm sorry, that definitely sucks. I'm hoping that's not going to happen with me. Like I said, the dealerships I've worked with have been very good. So I will make another video after the recall has been done on my car. And hopefully it's a positive video and not a video of, hey, I got my recall done and now my car is broken. Which again, I don't expect that to happen. But so that's kind of what's going on. Is there was a recall issued, I have to get it done, whatever. And to speak on the dealership thing, unfortunately, like with a recall, obviously you don't want to go with a third-party shop. One, a recall is free under a dealership, and two, there's no guarantee that you can actually get the parts that you need if you're a third-party shop. So you do have to go, pretty much, you have to go with a dealership for a recall, which, again, if you have a bad dealership, maybe that's not great. If you have a good dealership like me, no problem. So, I did see someone posted their receipt from what was actually done to their car. So I will read what was actually done. They removed the negative battery terminal, drained the coolant into a container for future use, removed the wiper arms, removed the cowl, removed air filter crossbar, removed air filter housing on driver's side, removed hose assembly, removed wiring harness from the ECU and TCU, removed the strut bar, removed the engine panel cover, removed the TCU, zip-tied AC line out of the way, used SST to remove coolant line banjo bolts, removed O2 sensor, removed upper coolant hose, removed water pipe, installed the new O-ring, removed the LH bracket, removed the dipstick, removed oil feed pipe, installed new oil feed pipe, which is the part that's been failing, Installed new dipstick, assembled all parts in reverse order, installed new upper coolant hose, filled vehicle system with coolant, performed coolant filling mode, verified oil level was at full indication, verified no leaks per campaign, no further repair needed at this time. So, obviously it's a very in-depth job. I mean, if you're removing the ECU and the TCU and the wiring harness, that's a pretty substantial job. Now, I will say it makes me a little nervous knowing that many things have to be removed to do this. Because that's a lot of things that you have to get right putting it back together. Now, I understand why it's taking so long, because only certain number of techs are even certified to do this job. And that's fine. You know, if they're certified, then they should be certified and it shouldn't be a problem. So am I nervous? Not really. It's a recall, you know. The only reason why I'm a little nervous is because this is my only car, so like if something does go wrong and I have to take it back again, I'm gonna be without a car again. So overall, I'd say I'm not nervous. I think it's gonna be fine. But now knowing how much they have to do to actually do this job, I'm a little, like, I guess I'm a little bit more nervous. Like, I really did not think that you would have to remove the wiring harness and the ECU and the TCU and all that kind of stuff to replace the oil feed pipe. I knew that it was like way deep down in the engine and that it was like definitely a process, but I had no idea it was that much of a process. But it is what it is, you know. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's the recall. I've heard good things and I've heard not good things. Unfortunately, I do think it comes down to the dealer. But mine has been fantastic so far, so I'm not really worried. But regardless, that's my take on the recall. It is what it is. It happens with cars all the time. I mean, you know, Ferraris get recalls too. Like everything gets a recall. But I will make a video. I guess I'll give it a little bit of time after I get the car back, and yeah, then I will make a video on like post recall if anything's going on. Hopefully not. But you never know. So that's it. I don't know. I've been making videos on, you know, Kia Stinger ownership journey type thing. This is a pretty major part of the ownership journey, so I felt that I should make a video about it. If you are watching this and you have a Stinger, a 3.3, and you had the recall done, let me know your experience. If you have one and you haven't had the recall done, there you go. That's the information I have for now. But yeah, that's it. So, I don't know. Thanks for watching.